At dawn with the pelicans in flight, coffee brewing strong by dawn's early light. Waves whisper secrets to my open heart. The life around this water gets me off to a great start. Parrots wild, squawking loud in the old palm tree. Dolphin smiles, brighter than the Texas sun on me. We chase simple dreams, nothing fancy or grand, just honest days in this promised land. God gives rainbow horizons to those in this happy lane. Diamonds dancing on the waves, back sparkling again. Honest living, a pursuit of peace, family ties and the happiness we seek. Love, forgotten country running deep in our veins. Through the storms and the trials we break those chains. Good living brings the blessings we see. Rainbow horizons calling to me. Living each moment, giving truth from the heart. No deceptions woven, no false starts. It goes like a front porch swaying in the ocean breeze. Watching the sunset fade away with pink and blue ease. Teach the young ones right from wrong with care. Hold them close when the world's unfair. In this Gulf Coast life, we find our way, building memories that never stray. Oh, rainbow horizons after the rain. Diamonds dancing on the waves back again. Honest living in pursuit of peace. Family ties and the happiness we see. Love, forgotten country running deep in our veins. Through the storms and the trials we break those chains. Good living brings the blessings we see. Rainbow horizons calling to me. When the night falls quiet and stars shine bright, I thank the Lord for this humble light, for the flag that waves and the grace from above, filling our hearts with endless love. No riches compare to the peace we found in the tides we ride, and the love all around. The rainbow horizons after the rain. Diamonds dancing on the waves back again. Honest living in pursuit of peace. Family ties and the happiness we seek. Love, forgotten country running deep in our veins. Through the storms and the trials we break those chains. Good living brings the blessings we see. Rainbow horizons forever free. Yeah. Your rainbow horizons calling to me.
All right, people, there we go. Okay, that is a very happy way to start the chat session, right? To start our friendly conversation, our chatterling, if you will. I have to apologize because for some reason the audio, when I play my music, the audio is delayed, or actually I think the audio is faster than the video. So it looks like I'm like singing behind the song, but to me it sounds beautiful. So it's weird because I heard I had quite a few messages and some emails, people trying to find out about about this song that I just played. And then the other song that they were very interested in was, hold on and I'll show you. This one.
Oh, Lauren,
No one likes
this
this
green
song.
with Botox so tight. You look like a dream, but your skin's so thin. It's like tissue paper. One wrong word and poof, you're a vapor.
All right. So that song has, people are very interested in it. So if you or your people, if you're the ones asking about the Lauren song, and it's a different situation with the Rainbow Horizons song. But thank you very much. I appreciate it. Most of them want to know, like, where did they come from? I did the lyrics on them. And then I had an idea of what I wanted it to sound like. And so then I just used AI to do the musical. I do use, I have a program that I can use to sort of manipulate the music. I didn't do that really at all with, well, did I with Lauren? I don't think I did. The Rainbow Horizons, I did change quite a bit from what AI did, but not really, you know. I just wanted it to match what was in my head. And for the people that are asking about the Rainbow Horizon song, there's someone right now that's deciding what they want to do with it, if anything. They may not do anything with it, but my hope is that they will, because I think it's a cute little, you know, happy, upbeat kind of popular sound, you know. So my fingers crossed. Okay, now then, other than that, Zelda, yes, twins. And I got lots of EC powders. I'm going to be a very busy granny. Lana, welcome. It's wonderful to see you. There is a literal smorgasbord of topic for today's conversation, isn't there? Let me just ask you guys this question. Have you guys ever seen, first of all, number one, have you ever seen a channel blow up as fast as Hidden True Crime did? I have not. And I've been on these streets for about 6 years, okay? Now, a lot of people will look at my channel history and they'll say, that's a lie. You've been here for 11 years. I used my YouTube channel starting 11, 12 years ago. I would upload, I moved a lot for work and different reasons. And so my dad was super interested in what we were doing and pictures of the little kids. And, you know, he was a really important part of our lives. And so I would upload our home videos and our photographs and things like that. And then all he had to do was log on to YouTube and watch and see everything that we were putting up. So a lot of times I just do a video to him where I was talking to him about something. So that's why it shows like a super long history. In terms of like videos related to current events or true crime or trials and that sort of thing, I didn't start doing this until the Chris Watts debacle. When it was horrifying what happened to the family, right? It's my opinion, he is a primary psychopath. He's the pure real deal. His brain is different than me and you. He experiences zero corrective emotion. I believe that. Okay. It's my opinion. But where I got involved, where I stepped up and said, okay, I have something to say, was this. There was a great deal of victim blaming of Shanann. And people, you know, Shanann was kind of one of those kind of people, at least what we saw in her videos, where people either really loved her or they really disliked her. And so the group of people that just really did not like her shiny, everything is sunshine and roses, you know, they just didn't like that disposition. I guess maybe it felt fake or forced or something like that. Those people got really vocal and they began to say things that were pretty shocking. Like, for example, Oh, well, if I had been Chris, if I had to live with her, I would have offed her or offed it myself too. So that's pretty horrible comment to make, right? So anyway, I did, eventually just one night in frustration or irritation, I went live and I said, people, chill, right? Like I get it that you don't like this girl as she presents on the recordings, but one day, her family, her friends, they're hungry for information, and they're going to find all of these comments, these vile, horrible accusations, and maybe just relax a little bit and be a little more tender about, what you're saying and things like that. Well, that was dumb of me. I was ignorant. Okay. Now, after being on the YouTube streets for 6 years, now I know it. No, everybody that had the things to say that they wanted, I believe much of it was contrived. I think there was quite a bit of it that was originating from Chris Watts' family, where they had friends and they were voicing, opinions. And so I feel as if I'm no longer ignorant. Okay. Hopefully I've learned something in these years. And so, I felt like when I was listening to Duty Ron, I felt like I was listening to someone who had not been here 6 years. Now, Duty Ron came on the scene, I'd have to go back and look, but maybe 6 months, a year after I did, right? And I was very supportive of him. Like, he had very few subscribers, and I, told my channel about his channel and directed people there and, did the whole thing. And I actually was just bumfuzzled when I listened to his support of Lauren. I was blown away. I think that listening to him say, and this stood out to me, like this was etched into my memory, because I was like, Duty Ron, dude. What? That's what went through like my visceral emotion in that instant. And here's what he said that really just sort of blew my mind. He said, and it was like talking to Lauren, right? He said, it's during hard times that you find out who your real friends are. You find out those people that are going to stand by you no matter what. Loving life. Duty Ron was ride or die for Mommy Ramblings blog and her flying monkeys. Weren't you, Duty? Weren't you, Duty? You know who else he was ride or die for? He was ride or die for Crazy Emily. Remember Crazy Emily? Oh, yeah, Crazy Emily. No, and it is exactly what I believe about Trisha on Websleuths. I think there are people who get into this whole YouTube true crime or gig, and their goal is to make money. Their goal is to make a living. I now believe that with my whole heart and soul. And if you're how do I say this? If Duty Ron were still a member of the New York police force, then he would have to comply, right? If they're writing his checks, if they're signing his paycheck, then the policies of the department will guide what his public stance is, right? You don't go against your employer in a big way, unless you're willing to be a whistleblower, unless you're willing to leave your job or get fired or whatever. If you want to keep that job, if you want to keep that income, you don't buck the system, for example, right? And I do think that's what happened with Duty Ron and Trisha of Websleuths. Maybe not so much Megan. I could be wrong, but maybe. And the reason that I say this is that there is a consortium that comes out of the Glenn Beck camp. Now, Trisha's going to go, oh, don't listen to that crazy lady over there. She was the first one to call out mommy ramblings. We can't trust her. Oh, you should have. You should have listened to me. Who was right? Okay. Right. Loving Life. Who called it? So I think that it's possible. I don't know this to be true, but I think it is possible that they are a part of that particular group, like a group of creators that are receiving professional guidance, and they have producers, that they're kind of that offshoot of corporate media where ABC, CBS, they recognized they were losing their viewership to social media news, YouTube commentary. And so then they started trying to trick all of us to like, oh no, I'm just here as a person to do the same commentary you independent people are doing. And then I think it was Chris McDonough was the one who made a comment, because he's there. He's going, oh, gee, shucks. You know, I'm just little old me in my camper tootling around the country, giving my opinion just like you. And then one night he you know, I think it was accidental. He said, well, then you've got a producer in your ear screaming at you, telling you what to say. And I went, oh, a producer as in professional producer. Okay. So I do think that there may be a consortium that would, where Duty Ron and Trisha and Lauren, and of course, that they're a part of that group of professional creators that have been taken under the wing of corporate media that will basically make money off of them. Many people don't realize you were Jot. I'm Jot. That's me. So through all the name iterations, that's me. But here's the truth. Here's the truth. No matter what my channel name changes to at any given time, I am always true to my basic morality and ethics. Always. I work very hard, and it has not always been fun. I work very hard, and this is for you, Duty Ron. I work really, really hard to stay true to what is right. And I recognize I'm saying what is right based on my own morality, my own personal ethics, and professional ethics as well. But I try really hard to do that, Duty Ron. And you know, you can look at the numbers of my channel to see that has not served me well. Okay. When you are, you know, basically doing commentary in what is the NFL of social media, YouTube, and everybody has a favorite team, right? When you're the person who says, oh, okay, wait a minute, I thought this person was someone that was similar to me, and I felt good about what they were doing, and therefore I'm willing to stand up and vouch for them, like Brittany J. And then you find out they are the worst version of what you ever imagined. And then you stand up and you say, hey, you don't do that. You don't talk about any child's sexual abuse ever, under any circumstances, and certainly not 15 years later when you're trying to hurt that child's mother. So as soon as I heard that, and I realized that I was so wrong. I mean, I had been completely manipulated. I called it out and I took a step back and I made apologies where I should make apologies. And I felt really good about myself, Duty Ron, that I could go to sleep at night with my conscience clear. Did I lose a bunch of subs? You bet your ass I did. Absolutely. Did it put me in a position to be threatened, both professionally and personally? Yep. That boneheaded alcoholic over there was saying how he was going to sue me and he was going to take all my money, blah, blah, blah. But you know what, Duty Ron? Here, when things get hard, when people are up to no good and it gets unveiled, that's when you know who's authentic, Duty Ron. That's not when you know who's willing to stand by you, even if you're a piece of shit. That's not the game, Duty Ron. The game is who is willing to stand by, who is willing to act with integrity. When things get hard, Duty Ron, you find out who is authentic and real and who is playing a damn game and manipulating people on this platform. That's what you find out. Now, if you don't care about integrity, if you don't care about what's real, if you don't care about real victims, then you go ahead and you stay with your team, no matter how vile they are, no matter the horrible things they do to other people. Go ahead, stand by them. If it helps your channel to grow, if it brings you in more money, go ahead. I don't care. For me, not in my world, not in my nature, and it never has been, ever. My life that I live day to day is a very happy life. And there's not a lot of excess. We don't have, mounds of cash laying around, but my life is real. It's authentic. And if you knew me, if you and I met for lunch one day, the person that is talking right now to you will be exactly the person that is sitting across the table from you at Papa Do's. Papa Do's, my favorite restaurant. So, Duty Ron, you followed up after you made this comment to Lauren that when things get hard, that's when you find out who your real friends are. You find out who is willing to stand by you no matter what. You followed that up with, on this channel, we're for the victims. We stand in support of the victims. And that was the point, Duty Ron, that my head went, phew. I said, this guy's talking out of both sides of his mouth. And does he even realize it? Does he even know it? I don't think so. I think he's towing the line. I think that they're a part of a consortium of channel creators, and it's been very lucrative for him. His channel grew as quickly as Lauren's channel grew. And I think he's working. I think he was told, you're going to support hidden true crime. You're going to speak out publicly in support of this woman who has turned out to be so horribly vile. She's vile, Duty Ron. She has played a role for everyone. Her one dream has been, I want to be on the real news. I'm a real journalist, and you guys are just silly little peons. The level of manipulation, Duty Ron, the level of manipulation from not only Lauren Matthias, but also from John Matthias, the level of gaslighting and manipulation that we've now seen, it's not just against us, the viewers, but they're doing it to the police. And Duty Ron, you ought to know this. It's illegal to do that. It is illegal, Duty Ron, to try and entice a police officer to intimidate a private citizen who has not broken the law. You don't seem to care about that. Where is all of your loyalty to the men in blue, the boys in blue? Where's that? Where's your loyalty to the law, Duty Ron? Where's your integrity? I don't know, I don't know how much clearer it has to become that if you are friends with, let's say, Ted Bundy, to use hyperbole, okay? If you're friends with Ted Bundy and you find him to be delightfully funny, which he was very charming. People really liked him. He was handsome. He was smart. If Ted Bundy is your friend, and then he gets arrested 1, 2, 3 times related to the disappearance or murders of young women, what do? Ted, old boy, when times get tough, that's when you find out who your real friends are. That's when you find out who's going to stand by you, no matter what. It's crazy, isn't it? You wouldn't do that. You would be horrified, just like I was with Brittany J. You would be horrified to find out this guy that I liked and I believed in and I trusted, I was so wrong. I was so wrong. He's simply manipulating. He's a sociopath. He's playing a role, and I believed him, and I'm horrified now. And then you cut off that relationship, right? It's what good people do, Duty Ron. So nobody expects you to cut off your friends, all that kind of stuff. But here's what I would want. I would at least want someone who was willing to say, Lauren, what the hell, man? You said here on our channel, we stand with the victims. That's who we're for. We're for the victims. And yet you spit in the face of Kay Woodcock. You spit in the face of Colby Ryan. You spit in the face of Gigi, Pretty Lies and Alibis. You spit in the face of Kresha. You spit in their faces in support of what? What? Duty Ron, 9-hour live, all directed at slandering Christina and the other women. That's okay with you? How were you a New York City detective that many years and you couldn't figure out reality? So go ahead, do what you want to do. Keep your job, keep your big dollars rolling in on your YouTube channel, but at least be honest, Duty Ron. At least be authentic about what you're doing. Lauren made some really bad mistakes. Lauren conducted herself in a way that I do not agree with. I do not support. And she's my friend, and I hope that she will do better going forward. What about that type of message, Duty Ron? Because it was all designed to save all of your channels. The interview that you did with her, what Trisha did with Websleuths, you were all in damage control. And you didn't give a shit about reality. You didn't care. Let's be honest. You did not care one bit about the way Gigi had been treated. You didn't care a single bit about what Kresha was going through, what Kay and Larry Woodcock were learning about what Lauren and John Matthias had done to them. You didn't care. That's truth. So I will say it. People make mistakes, and I own my mistakes. I've made them. I was wrong about Brittany J, and it was embarrassing and uncomfortable. And what mattered more was that there was a young college student out there that had her nightmare slathered all over the streets of YouTube with one goal, and that was to harm her mother. That was everything to me. So you stand up against that bullshit. That's the right thing to do. You stand up against it. So what Lauren did and continues to do based on these police body cam videos, Duty Ron, the body cam, we're all seeing it. We're seeing the way that, Lauren says, oh, my husband is a criminal psychologist. What about this, Lauren? How about, hold on a minute, I got my husband on the line. Like, for example, if your husband, Lauren, sold chicken feed at the local, farm supply store, would you say to the police officer, let me get my husband on the phone. He sells chicken feed at the local farm supply. Would you say that, Lauren? Hell no. Come on. Stop. You would never say that. The reason that you said, let me get my husband, he's a criminal psychologist, you were suggesting to the police officer that he would be the police officer's boss. He knows more than you do. He has higher status than you. He might be able to hurt your job if you don't do what we want you to do. And to further prove that notion, he calls back, John calls back with action points. Excuse me, police officer, I have some action points for you. This is what you're going to do for us. Duty, Ron. Again, where's your loyalty to the boys in blue? Why are you siding with a man who calls a uniformed police officer and says, let me tell you what you're going to do? Because you're fake. That's why. Because you're fake. You're acting without authenticity. So you do that. That's everybody's choice. That everybody faces those moments that will define them for a while. I had that moment when I heard the clip of Brittany J dragging this young woman's abuse, assault, using that as YouTube fodder drama. I had that moment, Duty Ron. I had that moment. I was a mod on her channel. She was a mod on my channel. And I had that moment and I said, this is it. This is one of those moments. What are you going to do? It would have been much easier to be quiet. That's all. It would have been much easier to quietly just bow out, stop going to their channel, remove her wrench. That would have been the easiest path for me. I lost a lot of subs, but it wasn't right. That young woman who was being victimized that I don't know her, but she could be my daughter. She could be your daughter. She could be Lauren's daughter. That was what mattered. Not Brittany J, not me. We didn't matter. What mattered was that young woman. And I used my reputation and my integrity to say to people, if you're not sure who to believe, let me tell you who to believe, because I heard it. I saw the video. She did drag out the violent assault of a little 8-year-old kid to use to try to hurt the mother on YouTube. She did do that. She did do that. And I don't support it in any way at all. I'm disgusted. I'm embarrassed that I was easily manipulated and tricked. And I'm finished with Brittany J. That's how you do it, Diddy Ron. And then you can sleep well at night. So those people that need to believe that Lauren is a good person, you're going to have to completely ignore the reality that she used the family of JJ, Tylee, Charles, and it, I don't know how much in terms of like Tammy Daybell. They're having comments where, they used Heather, right? So I think Lauren and John are willing to use anyone that will bring them more money. And I don't it looks like to me there are no limits to what they're willing to do. And for Lauren and John, I think, I'm actually really shocked at the way this was handled. And I think that people that are trying to protect their fortune, they're trying to protect their income. I think that's when you start making foolish decisions. And I think you guys, maybe if you were authentic and you really were for victims' families, and you really did care about what it was, the stories that you were delivering and such, maybe you would have made better decisions. For example, John Matthias, what was wrong with this? Did happen, and I hurt people, and I am very sorry. I've apologized to the people that I violated, and I'm sorry about that. And this will never happen again. I will never ingratiate myself to the families of murder victims simply just so I can tell a story online. I'll never invoke the name of Charles Vallow to say that, what I'm experiencing and feeling is what Charles Vallow was experiencing and feeling right before his creepy wife and brother-in-law murdered him. You have to apologize. You have to take accountability for what you actually did. And then you have to have some kind of plan where you can rightfully say, I am not ever going to engage in this hurtful, terrible behavior again. Is that what you did, John Matthias? No, that's not what you did. You doubled down, you asshole. You went online with your PhD. There's Dr. John. So instant credibility, right? Instant credibility. You used your licensing and your academic accomplishments to trick people, to mislead people. And that makes all of us psychologists look real bad, real bad. You said, come on, guys. We all have a group chat with friends where we just blow off steam. We all have, group chats where we all get together and then we talk mean about our friends that are not in the group chat. That is perfectly normal. But the people that are really bad, the people that you should hate, those are the friends that are hurt, that there were people that were talking shit about them. And those friends then say, wait a minute, Lauren and John Matthias are not good people. I believe they were my friend. Let me tell you what they did to me. You and Lauren were in the wrong, 100%. The Christina, Gigi, the others that were harmed by your behavior, Kay, Kresha, those are the victims of you. And the listeners of Hidden True Crime, they're looking at your PhD. They're looking at the fact that you're licensed, and they're saying, I have to believe him, because a man that is a licensed psychologist that has a PhD would never lie to us. That's the reason in your ethics code that it says you cannot behave in public in a way that would make others doubt your profession. This has been a train wreck. And these police body cam videos, that's reality. How many times did that cop say, there is no crime? There is no crime. There is no crime. No crime has been committed except for what you and Lauren have done. The crimes, number one, defamation. You guys called Christina a stalker, Lord, 200 times, 300 times? What? You're not worried that Christina's going to come back and sue your ass into oblivion? The only way, look, it has to be true for it not to be slander. All of these police body cams, your wife and Grayson are the ones that were stalking, not Christina. None of the, even the ones where the girl comes in and says, I want to talk to you. That's just a friendship that was going off the rails. And one of them was trying to work it out. And your wife was like, oh, she didn't feel threatened. Lauren's 3 times the size of the young woman who's saying, can we talk about this? Three times as big. There was no threat. It was all manipulation. All you were trying to do in that newest video of the Lauren and Grayson and the police officer in the apartment, all you were focused on, John, was getting a paper trail. Get a paper trail. I need a piece of paper. I need something with an official signature on it so I can go into court of law and try and put this young mother, 4 kids, young mother, I'm going to put her in prison for 5 years. For what, John? What did this woman do that deserves prison, in your opinion? Tell the truth? She told the truth. She's telling the truth about your wife and how your wife treats victims of crime and her friends, how she conducts her business, John. None of it was lies. None of it was lies. You tried to influence, you tried to entice, you tried to intimidate that police officer into giving you what you wanted. I am the great and powerful John Matthias, and if I want a police report, by God, you're going to give it to me. Terrible. Terrible. Not terrible. Terrible. All right. Tell them they are walking a thin line. Man, they loved that, Lana. How many times? Tell them they're walking a thin line. That is a statement of intimidation. John Matthias, you are walking a thin line, aren't you? You know for what. You know for what. I don't have to voice it. You're walking a thin line. It's intimidating. That is an intimidating statement. If you believe that is intimidating to tell someone they're walking a thin line, is that a way to try to make them feel uncomfortable so they won't do something? Put a 1 if you believe that was like a twisting someone's arm. Oh, yeah. And what they did to Lori Hellis? Good Lord. John. Oh, my God. Okay. I saw your picture with all the books around you, right? You're like this little tiny figure in this land of books. I know what the messaging is. The messaging is, oh, look at what an intellectual I am. Have you behaved like an intellectual? Not according to the intellectuals I know. But I got the message. I saw what you were, suggesting to the world with that photograph. I did glowing ember. I did have a temper tantrum. But here's the difference, right? The difference is authenticity. The difference is authenticity, and there's another difference too. And that difference is, do you remember who you are, right? Like you may act out in a way under certain conditions that is really not typical for you. And then when you stand back and you notice it, and then you're like, oh my God, what was I thinking? Then you apologize and you try to fix it. And you try to make it right. And I did that. Is it glowing ember? Yeah, glowing ember. I did that, didn't I? How many times have you heard me come out and say, I lost my temper huge one night, and it was not my finest moment. I was really mad at myself and embarrassed, and I went missing off of the streets of YouTube as I got my shit together. And the circumstances for me getting so angry online at another creator, the circumstances of that were, I wasn't in a good headspace. I was in a really bad headspace. My dad had died, and there was a lot of stuff related to that, and I was in grief. I was also being horribly lied about and manipulated by Mommy Ramblin's blogs, Flying Monkeys, and someone else that I have since multiple times apologized to and tried really hard to be authentic, non-judgmental. So you go ahead, glowing ember, you come in and say, oh, one time someone loses their temper and that's supposed to be the kiss of death, right? You go ahead. I prefer, to be realistic with people. And people do have moments where maybe things aren't going well. And I had that same forgiveness for Lauren, and not so much John Matthias, but Lauren. And I was like, well, things get difficult. Things get hard. You don't know what she's going through. But let's be fair here, glowing embers. The videos that we're seeing of what happened with the police, she tried to put Christina in jail for 5 years. They wanted her in jail for 5 years, glowing ember. They wanted that. Give that some thought. The thing that tipped me off, the thing that twisted me off, was a situation. I'm not going to rehash the whole thing because it's water under the bridge now, but because glowing embers brought it up. The situation was this. It was related to Shanann Watts, right? And it was that some people on a panel said it, and there were tons of people in the live when it happened, said that I said that Shanann Watts was a pedophile and that she was taking photographs of Jamie Watts' little boy in a swimming pool. That's what twisted me off. And I lost my mind. I lost it. So you are correct, glowing ember, that I did lose my mind. you are correct that I came hard at the person that told that lie. And I apologized to Shanann's dad and mom who came into my channel. And I apologized and I said, I didn't say that. It was orchestrated to make it look like I said that. And then I went off YouTube for a while. Okay. So there, you wanted to be recognized, Glowing Ember. You got it. Okay. I own my behavior. I'm proud of who I am. And I am not a self-absorbed, pompous ass who thinks that I'm always right and I always make the right decision. I make plenty of mistakes, but what I do is I do try to fix them after that mistake happens. All right. Can't believe anyone would defend that after they said from their own lips, whatever gets out in public will destroy them. Think about that, how bad it must be. Yep. I don't know what, well, I know some of what happened. Like I know some of what is in the, like the text and the emails and stuff. And it's bad. It is, you know what it is? The thing that I think of and say it's bad. Here, it's the kind of behavior that we're actually witnessing on the police body cam, where we're watching the police body cam. Thank you, Loving Life. Thank you. What we're seeing on the police body cams, we're seeing manipulation of police officers, correct? We're seeing manipulation of police officers to try and get what they want. The truth be damned, they don't care about reality. When I twisted off and got angry, I was angry about reality. I was angry about having been lied about. When I had been so vocal in support of Shanann, that was the very thing that brought me to YouTube. And then, you know, this message that I was saying that she was a pedophile, and her parents were in the live. It was, yeah, I was incensed, and I should have been. Most people would. It wasn't like I got mad and I shouldn't have been mad. It was absolutely a righteous indignation. I was also deep in grief and went way too far, way too far. And I apologized multiple times through the years, and I logged off for quite a long while, and, you know, tried to put a limit on the emotion. So, you know, something else that I did, Glowing Ember, during that period of time, I took a month off from work. I took a month off from work when my dad died, because I knew that it was probably the most significant loss I had ever experienced or ever will experience. It was very complicated. I'm not going to go into why. And he was very dear to me. And I knew that was going to knock the foundation out from underneath me. And I have a responsibility. I have a professional responsibility to make sure that when I am working with other people and I'm trying to help them, guide them, you know, help them in whatever their needs are, I need to be present for them. My problems don't matter. When I'm helping someone else, I cannot be the slightest bit concerned about anything in my own personal life. That's the truth. It was actually exactly the proper steps to take according to our ethics, our APA manual, according to Texas state law. I did exactly the proper thing. That when a psychologist is aware that there may be something interfering with their ability to work properly within the guidelines of our profession, then it's my responsibility. It's my ethical responsibility to say, I'm going to need a little bit of time here. I've got some things going on and it's not going to be okay. I can't fully be present. I need a little time. So that's what I did. And I know, Glowing Ember, all your people, you were all like, what kind of professional psychologist abandons her patients? You're assuming way too much. I did exactly what I was supposed to do, and no one was abandoned. You know, it is possible to make plans for when you need to follow your ethics code. So be gone before someone drops a house on you. Okay. Now then, after my husband died, I got stopped by a police officer for speeding. I was so mean to him. I still feel bad about it. And I wasn't even aware of my speed. Thank you, C-Star. You know, the reality is we have a limited capacity for dealing with big emotions. And that is one of the reasons why we need to try to walk every day, get some sunshine, keep our stress in our daily lives low, so that if there is a big problem, an unexpected problem, we have room, right? We have room for that big emotional reaction and not blow your top. But if you're under a lot of daily stress and then something unexpected happens and you hit your limit, you hit the roof, then you do explode. And, you know, that's what happened. And that is why, you know, I went offline for a while and, you know, walk in every day and worked really hard to started seeing my therapist for a little while and, you know, got it together and went healed and went on about my business. So, yeah, Glowing Ember, you're just in here trying to be divisive or trying to change the topic, right? And the topic is that Lauren started this with her 9-hour live where she used the family of Kay Vallow, Kay Woodcock, multiple times to try to tell people, you're about to start hearing terrible things about me. Please don't abandon me. Please feel sorry for me. Again, same as Duty Ron. No awareness of I was wrong. I shouldn't have done that. None of that. It was all, don't listen to them. They're all liars. I think that was a big part why they needed the police report. I think a big part of it was damage control. That if they could get something in place that would look like Christina or these other women were that they lacked credibility, that they were liars, then when the information started dropping, then they could say, oh no, just ignore them. That they're lying. We already know they're liars. But when Lauren went to court for the restraining order, the judge was like, why are you even here? There's nothing, no laws have been broken. You're not being stalked. There is no, extortion. Like, what are you doing here? And the judge just kind of laughed him out of court. And that was the reason that they dropped it, in my opinion. And now we have these very difficult police body cams. And how many times did we hear that poor police officer say to both Lauren and Grayson, as well as John, there's no broken laws. Nobody's done anything to you. What you're describing is perfectly okay. If you send a text to another person and that person chooses to tell that text to someone else, it's not a broken law. When you send a text to someone, you're doing it with full knowledge that that communication is not private, right? And glowing ember, maybe that's the point, right? Maybe the point. So glowing ember says, no, Jules, I'm just being honest about my reactions to your fit. It was a fit. You're right. I watched your every video. I had you on such a pedestal. There you go. That's the problem, isn't it? That's the whole borderline idealizing and devaluing. Why would you put me on a pedestal? I don't deserve to be on a pedestal. I'm a person. I'm a woman, just like you, presumably you and many others in this channel. I don't deserve a pedestal for sure. I do think that you should expect that a person with my background might really, I think you should have an expectation of honesty. I think that should be really important. But why would you think that a person with a certain type of education or job, why would you think that they're not human? I don't know I don't understand that frame of mind. So you believe what you believe is that a psychologist or a mental health expert or a doctor, like your general practitioner, you believe that they are perfect. They make no mistakes. Is that right? I mean, that's what it sounds like. I put you on a pedestal. I was crushed, but you shouldn't have been crushed. I'm not here acting in the capacity of psychology. I'm here as a friend, and I've made it very clear that talking about true crime or the trials and that kind of thing, that is not really related to what I do in my profession. There was a time where I was doing forensic evaluations. I have been certified as an expert witness for a couple, several different areas. But true crime is something that I would be interested in, but that is not how I make my living now, except with pediatrics. And that is one of the reasons why, and I've been very clear with people that this is the case. That is one of the big reasons why I don't talk about these kids' cases, because that's getting too close to what I do in real life. I'm not going to go into that, but so I try really hard to keep a very clear delineation between my professional life when I am acting in capacity of psychologist compared to when I'm here talking. We're being people, having human reactions. And I don't deserve, not even as a psychologist, I don't deserve to be put on a pedestal. I don't deserve that. I am a person and I care very much about other people. And I would give an awful lot to try to help someone else. My accountant yells at me regularly about I'm carrying too many pro bono cases on my workload. What that means is I'm working and I'm not getting paid. Okay. So I do care about people. And that is one of the reasons why I try really hard to be honest and authentic. And when there's something I see that is wrong, egregious, I'm willing to call it out. And if I'm going to call something out, I need to be able to justify it. I need to be able to explain myself. And I'm being very clear about Lauren and John Matthias that this is a disaster of epic proportions where we are seeing they have crawled over the tops, the heads of real crime victims, people that had children in their families murdered, their brother murdered or their uncle murdered. And they're in this nightmare that hopefully you and I never have to experience. But they're in the middle of this nightmare trying to find a new normal in their life, trying to find their foundation. I can't even imagine the nightmare of losing a kid in your family. It's got to be hell on earth, right? And these people should be honored with privacy and to be given space to do what they need to do to find that healthy new normal. They should not become prizes. They don't want to be trophies. And that is what, in my opinion, that is what Lauren and John did. They took the family of Charles Vallow, Tylee and JJ, and including Tammy Daybell. They took that family and they turned them into shiny prizes. If I can befriend Kay Woodcock, then look how much money I'm going to make on YouTube. If I can get the trust of Larry and Kay and Colby, look how much money I'm going to make. Look how beloved I'm going to be. And Lauren actually used Kay Woodcock's family, precious family, used them during this 9-hour damage control. Used them. Tried to use Colby in the police video. She almost said Colby's name, and then she caught herself and pulled herself back. And I was very quick to say, Lauren, that was a great moment. You pulled back. That was awesome. That's great. It's unbelievable to sit there in your bed with your $3 million and say, I know just how Charles Vallow felt when he was trying to get people to listen to him and no one would listen to him. I know how he felt. I was like, good God in heaven. What? No, they're manipulating. They're manipulative. And they don't look. John Matthias is very clear in this police body cam. He's very clear. He wants Christina in jail for 5 years as a minimum. But if he can figure out how to get more charges, great. And he says, or maybe it was Grayson that said it. One of them says something like, well, if we do this, then it will get back to the source and they'll be too scared to act. You see what I mean? This has, there's no redeeming features here. None. That if you feel like there are some redeeming facts about this whole debacle, I'm willing to listen. What is it? What am I missing? I'm more than happy to listen. But all I can see now is just exploitation, self-absorption, narcissistic entitlement. That's all I see. They're perfectly willing to take this family that has had so much loss and so much horror brought into their lives. They're totally willing to just add to it as long as it means money for them. They're happy for that. They're fine with that. And I was really shocked at Duty Run. I do think we need to stand with our friends. I agree with all that. And I would even think as a police officer, that kind of code of silence, I can, appreciate that as well. But when he followed up by saying, on this channel, we stand with the real victims. No, John, Duty Ron, you've forgotten who the real victims are. The real victims are Crescia, Kay and Larry, Colby, Tammy Daybell's family. Those are the real victims, not Lauren Matthias. She's sitting on her millions. They exploited their integrity. Why now it's your job to pretend that what they did, they didn't do? They did do it. We're watching it, Duty Ron, on police body cam. Something, frankly, that I think you would respect. All right. Let's see. Yeah, a real, I think I know what you're talking about, Carolina. Are you talking about the story that I think it was Ed Wallace was there. It was the story of a woman who had been stalked and the stalker killed her. Is that what you're talking about? And he equated that to Lauren Matthias. What? Christina did nothing, literally nothing. At the time, okay, so this is critical in terms of the overall timeline, where the police body cam that we're watching, where they're in Grayson's apartment, during that period of time, do you know that was before Christina started making TikTok videos? Wow. What do you think of that, Duty Ron? You're a detective, or by training and experience, you were a detective. What would that tell you, Duty Ron? What's it say? All right. Shared delusions? No, I don't think so. I think they're too, they know that they're trying to invent evidence. John Matthias knows he's inventing evidence when he's demanding some hard copy of a report of some sort. She was so nervous that her text would be revealed and we would see the true Lauren Matthias. She had to come up with a premeditation plan. Melissa, I mean, I do think that's what she was trying to do with that 9-hour live. You know, she was trying to make people feel sorry for her, but also cut the credibility of others, including Kay Woodcock, right? I do think that's true, but here's the ironic thing, right? The ironic thing is, as they were conniving, as they were trying to get their valuable bullshit evidence by making this law enforcement officer write up a report that meant nothing, there is no crime committed. They just wanted any kind of piece of paper that they could then take and say, here, I've got evidence to a judge, right? By doing that, that actually gave everybody real recording that we know is good, right? It's police body cam. We know it's good. That demonstrates that everything that they're saying is bullshit. It's all a lie. Everything's a lie. Christina's not a stalker. No, have any of you even once heard Lauren or John or Grayson, any of them say they are lying about Lauren? No, nobody, right? It's just John going, well, if we look at it this way, then it might violate this law. He's being a freaky, deaky, sneaky jerk. That's all. He's just a jerk. If you have to do all kinds of manipulations and machinations to convince someone that there might be a broken law, John Matthias, you're the bad guy. You're the bad guy. You're weaponizing our laws in our country. You're using police officers for your petty bullshit. You were willing, and probably still are, if I were to guess, you guys were willing to have Christina put in prison for 5 years or longer, because that then would have given you standing to say Christina and all the girls are liars. Gigi's a liar. Kresh is a liar. Kay's a liar. You didn't stop for a minute, John Matthias, to say, yeah, but they're not lying. My wife did these things. You didn't stop a single minute. What? I thought honesty was an integral part of the ethics code, isn't it? Okay, Alpha and Omega. His wife could have a spell. You put a spell on me. He might regret one day. Maybe already regretting. I don't know. They wanted to use the police officer to intimidate. Thank you, Nene. You're exactly right. Nene, I have to tell you something. I was going to be granny to our grandkids, and my little granddaughter has started calling me Nene, so I'm Nene now. So I love it. Looking at old imperial evidence in books that agrees with his thoughts. Diane, how old of a text do you have to use to find something that you can manipulate to look like support, John Matthias? You know all too well. You're sitting there in that picture, little old John Matthias surrounded by, tens of thousands of books, right? You're giving that impression. I am an academic. I am a decorated scholar. Tell me about contemporary resources, John. You have to pull out Brad Pitt, bless his heart. You have to pull out Brad Pitt and a 17-year-old book to find anything that will support what Lauren did. Man, you lost that argument with learned people. Nobody's going to take you seriously. Silly. It's absurd. Yes, we love difficult research. I keep wondering why Christina became the one that they wanted to throw in jail. Seems like everybody Lauren ever worked with. Well, that's another thought, Miss Sherry. I wondered, right? I thought, is Grayson the only employee that this chick has? Is she the only friend in Lauren's life? Like, literally, has Lauren violated every single employee and friend she's ever had? What? John, what do your books tell you about that phenomenon? Oh, thank you, Cinnamon. Cinnamon Hot is sharing Crush's channel. Crush's channel is called Difficult, C-U-L-T, Research. Okay. And she's so interesting to listen to. She went through this process. Well, I assume she's still going through the process. I can't speak for her. But she went through this process of trying to make sense of what their family had experienced, because there's a homicidal maniac in their family, or two of them, right? Lori and Alec Cox. It's the amount of research that she's done, the things that she's learned and has been able to put together, the connections that she has absolutely right about. The reason I know is because I went back behind her and said, is that right? What's she saying? Is that true? And I went back behind and did research, and sorry, Trisha on Websleuths, but Crush is 100% right about Glenn Beck and CrimeCon. You, Crush, were wrong. So do the research, Trisha. Do the research. Okay? Crush is 100% right. So they have wanted to discredit Crescia, because Crescia had the insight to sort of stand back and watch Lauren and go, I don't know. This feels weird. This feels uncomfortable. I'm not sure we can, trust this lady. Well, who was right? Sorry, but who was right? And it's my opinion that I think the process that Crescia went through trying to make sense of this terrible loss. I mean, she loved her uncle very much, and JJ, and the family came to love Tylee, and she was trying to make sense of what Lori did. She was trying to make sense of what happened and what the truth was and who was involved and what it meant, right? It's such a crazy thought that you have this hairdresser mom, aunt, who turns into a homicidal maniac who believes that she is going to be queen of the 144,000. It's, how do you even start to believe any of that, right? And so it was so fantastical and yet very real because their loved ones are gone. And she tried to figure it out. She tried to figure out, how could this happen to us? And wow, what she has uncovered, the power structure coming out of LDS, the power brokers in the LDS, the types of books written, the people that were given credibility, like Jody Hildebrandt, the reach of Jody Hildebrandt. Who would take a bonehead like Chad Daybell and empower him to be the prophet? Who would do that? He can't come up with that on his own. Lori is not a genius. So who in the hell gave these two permission or gave them a blueprint for the crime spree, for the delusional shit? That is folly ado. I think what Lori and Chad experienced, I think they both legitimately believed that they were special and they were going to be the leaders of the 144,000. Who told them that? Who convinced them of that? Jason Mao. Who convinced them? Jason Mao. So please go over to Crush's channel. Listen to the information she has with open mind. Just because it's something you don't know, it doesn't mean she's wrong. Maybe what it means is you just need to do a little more research. Maybe you and I are the ones that are ignorant, and Crush has the knowledge, the information. And what we need to do is do some reading and go in search of what she's talking about. Because she was dead on right about Glenn Beck and CrimeCon. 100% right. And didn't you find it interesting that when that information came out, that Trisha was like, oh, that's just so dumb. That's just so stupid. Glenn Beck has nothing to do with CrimeCon. Lauren Matthias, Glenn Beck has nothing to do with CrimeCon. Oh, yes, he does. Hey, Crush, good to see you. She said, I kept offering that diagnosis or phenomenon or whatever it's called, folly ado. John and Lauren would not hear it. Oh, totally. Yeah. Lori and Chad, you could also include Alex Cox. They did, I believe, based on the very foolish choices and actions that they did, they really were believing that no harm was going to come to them. They believed that. Like, how do you disappear, kill, murder 2 children, and then fly off to Hawaii and actually believe that nobody's going to hold you accountable? All you got to do is just duck the phone calls. No, I think someone convinced them that they had metaphysical powers. Yep, I believe it. Bella Italiano. How are you, Bella? Karma comes back always. I totally believe that. What you put out there in the world, it will come back to you. And that is one of the reasons why I don't choose to stand at the side of my friends, come what may. No matter what they do, I don't stand there and lie for them. That's not what I do. I try really hard to make a good, solid decision about what is right, what is authentic, what is factual. That's where I want to stand, right? And you can lose a lot of friends that way. So folie à deux is a French term for madness of two. It is a rare psychiatric syndrome where a delusional belief or psychosis is transmitted to another person. Usually it's found in family groups, sometimes family groups that are not very sophisticated. They don't really have a wider contact with the world. They're not really very educated. They may not have jobs outside of the family. And very often it'll be like a mother and a child, something like that. Not always, but commonly. It doesn't just have to be limited to two people. It can be, folly en masse. It can be many people. It can be a whole family structure that can have these delusional beliefs. Melanie Gibb, right? Jason Mao. All right. And I do think that there is a difference between delusional thought, psychosis, and someone who is just taken advantage. I do think there are people that recognize mental illness and they say, how can I capitalize on this person's madness? They don't really believe what they're saying, but if they can, put on a gladiator uniform, have their picture taken for the front of their book, and then make tens, $20,000, $30,000, $50,000 by selling books to a lot of less sophisticated people that believe the 144,000 is a real phenomenon, then those people are just, they just exploit people that may not be healthy or very sophisticated, right? Is that what's happening, Lauren? Is it a level of sophistication that you and John feel like y'all are so far above your listeners on YouTube that no matter how you behave in reality, you can make money and you don't really care if that people just believe every word you say, even though what you're saying isn't true? I don't know if that's it. There you go. Working on a project that will help us understand the concept. Experting. There you go. And how many people, less sophisticated people, get exploited? They're all over the place, right? Buy my face cream. Oh, we went through that, didn't we, Lauren? Yeah. Buy my face cream. Then you can be as beautiful as Lauren and Dr. Babe. All you got to do is do research. The face cream is awful. The empirical studies that were done on the effectiveness of that brand of face cream reflect, as reported by a scientist, that your face is actually better without using that face cream. Take note, okay? Gigi, you know what I think, Kylie? I don't think that maybe she thought Gigi was less sophisticated. Well, I was in the real news. Gigi was not. You remember that from the body cam, right? Body cam. I think there was jealousy because Gigi, during my opinion, like, I don't know Gigi personally. I've never talked to her, but what I've been able to sort of put together based on all these people talking and whatnot, during the Daybell or Lori's different trials, Gigi got a very attractive contract with Real News, right? And I think that killed Lauren. I think Lauren thought that was hers, that she was the one that should have gotten that contract, not Gigi. Gigi's not a real news person. I am. How dare they pass me over? That's what I think might have happened, but that's only my guess. It's only my opinion. That's all. I think, Alpha, that's only my opinion. I can't say, and here is Gigi's channel. Thank you so much, Cinnamon Hot. I appreciate you. Just like Molly lightly dislikes Ashley Bancroft, Lauren dislikes Gigi. I don't know. It's sad, isn't it? The whole thing is unbelievable. Yeah, and Gigi does work her ass off. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I don't know. Okay, so we've been talking a long time. Okay, so let me see if there was something else that I wanted to bring up. Okay, so let's go ahead and start. Here's this. And I know you guys have seen so much of this video, but facts matter, reality matters, right? And there are still so many people that, they're kind of doing this. They're like, no, don't tell me. I love Lauren. Don't tell me who she really is. I get it. You want to hang on to the things that make you comfortable, the things that make you feel good. I know. But the problem is this. And if they're not willing, this is my opinion, and you certainly can disagree with me like 100%. But for me, for my position, it's like, if they're willing to go to these links, calling a cop over, wanting to put one of these ladies in jail as a strong arm tactic to keep all the other ladies quiet about reality, about truth, then that tells me they're not finished. They will continue to exploit families of murder victims. They're going to continue to do it because they have made $3 million, give or take. All right. It's been highly, highly lucrative. So they have a lot of motivation to keep this going. That scares me. I think Brandy Vaughn, the mother of Michael or Monkey Vaughn, I think Brandy Vaughn deserves to be protected. I think that she should be left in peace, and the people around her, the people that are there to support her through the trials, and all that, they need to be people that are there to protect her, to keep the reporters back, to keep the reporters out of the way, so that she has her privacy as she goes through grief. When you're in grief, it is a very, very difficult period of time. There is a lot of anger in grief. There is a lot of depression and sadness in grief. There's a lot of confusion and not being able to figure out what you want to do next. There's a lot of periods of time where you think, wow, I'm feeling really good today. That's weird. Am I a psychopath? I shouldn't feel good when I've lost a kid. That all by itself, that is a very natural, normal part of grief. It's kind of like, okay, you've been through this very traumatic neurological process of grief, and you need a day or two to just sit back and watch some Netflix, or to go out and, go to the beach and laugh. And people that are in grief, they don't need other people watching and saying, oh, well, they don't look like they're in very much mourning over their lost child. Look at what they're doing with what's her name? Erica Kirk. Same thing. They're showing pictures of when she's smiling, and then they're saying, well, she's not in grief. Wait a minute. Grief is really complicated, and you're bouncing around from different mental states. And in the beginning, you're bouncing pretty fast. And, can you imagine if somebody's invaded your life and you're going through a period of intense anger? That's natural and normal and healthy. They could walk away and paint you to be a monster. Oh, well, as Brandy Vaughn is trying to grieve the loss of her little child, she's, throwing dishes in the kitchen and breaking them. Maybe Michael didn't go missing. People would do that. Look at what they said about Shanann Watts. So people that are in grief, and when you're going through that trial process, when you're trying to get justice, it just fires all of the complicated feelings back up again. They need their privacy more than ever. They don't need Lauren and John Matthias clawing their way into their lives, being observers to every moment of their grief. That is what you don't need. That's my personal opinion. Okay. Let's see. The real victims, Nene, yes. You know how I say yes? You know how I know you're right, Nene? Because we have video. We have police webcam, body cam. We know who the victims are, Lauren and John. It's clear to anyone who is not brainwashed in your cult. It's clear who the actual true victims are. It's clear. You and Lauren, nothing about you was victim. You want to know? Your wife was nasty. She's a bad friend. She was dishonest in befriending Larry and Kay Woodcock. That's it. That's all. The reality is when one friend mistreats another friend, they want to talk about it. They want people to know that this person hurt them. And that is actually natural, John Matthias. Putting a woman in jail, in prison for 5 years as a cautionary threat against other people that know your wife. My husband said it the other night. It's evil. It's evil. It's weak. It's weak. All right. Lordy, here we go. Thank y'all for staying here through my indignation.
Crime. It's not a crime until they do it. Does that make sense?
What? It's not a crime. Lauren, not a crime. The great grand John Matthias, not a crime. In this country, under this Constitution, we don't prosecute people for thoughts. We don't do that. You ought to know that, grand forensic psychologist.
So
there is some information that has been text. Like we haven't seen it, but it's being.
No, we've seen the text. We have mailed text from people.
Okay.
but they're not threatening text or anything like that.
No, we just have private messages that have been sent out.
Okay, so who did they get sent out to?
They got sent out to Gigi. They got sent out to Christina. They got sent out to Kay. You know that. They got sent out to.
So any one of those that you sent text messages to could have copied them and sent them.
And
that's where we're at. You have
Spit it out, Lauren. All right. I have one more thing to say. Jerry Vallow. Who is Jerry Vallow? How many of y'all know who Jerry Vallow is? Oh, what? Crescia knows. Crescia knows who Jerry Vallow is. Yeah. A victim. His brother was murdered by the homicidal maniac, Lori Vallow. Right? Charles Vallow's brother, Jerry. These two pompous asses wanted this police officer who is very clearly saying, there's no crime. No crime has been committed. there is no crime. They wanted him to call Jerry Vallow to vouch for them. In what world does a person do that, I ask you? I don't know what to think about. Like, it's absolutely incredible. The gall of Lauren and John Matthias is incredible. And here's the thing, and I would imagine that a lot of the subscribers with Hidden True Crime channel, I would imagine that part of why they are holding on is for this question. Why would Lauren and John do the things that you're accusing them of doing? Why would they do it? So I want to answer that for you, okay? If you've refused to watch the police body cam, you are in abject denial. All you have to do is go and watch the body cam. You've got to go listen to what the police officer is saying. You've got to go listen to what John and Lauren are saying. So if you're refusing to watch police body cam, you don't want to know the truth. You are being willfully blind so that you can continue the illusion of this organization, this Hidden True Crime channel. But for those of you that do care, for those of you that are interested in truth, for those of you that don't want to be tricked and manipulated by strangers on the internet, then here's what I have to say. Go and watch this body cam. And I'm going to put the link in the chat right now. Okay, so whoops. Chat's moving so fast. Hold on. Okay, there's the link to this video right here, where I started it at the cop saying there is no crime that has been committed. Go educate yourself. Go listen. Ask yourself if these two people, do they really sound like victims, or do they sound like people who are trying to manipulate the police officer, trying to manipulate the law to fight their battles for them? Never once did Lauren or John or Grayson say, Christina's lying about us, or the other women are lying about us, or Kay is lying, or Gigi or Creshaw or anyone's lying. Never. They're trying to say, but they're telling everybody the truth about who I am. And that will set your heart free. Don't sit around and get manipulated and gaslighted by these bozos. It's awful what they've done to this family. And my fear is Brandy Vaughn next? How many other families are going to have to live through what Cresha and Jerry and the rest of their family lived through? How many more are going to have to do that? Can you imagine? And this was a moment for me, all by myself. I was sitting outside on my patio. I was looking out over the ocean, and I was thinking about this whole debacle. And I thought, what must that be like to be a person or a couple who capitalized a story to the tune of millions of dollars, that John and Lauren Matthias were able to make millions of dollars off of the actions of Lori Vallow and the aftermath, the trials and such. What do you do when the last trial is over? What do you do when the last trial is done? And you look around and you say, what are we going to do for income now? What story will bring us people again? What do you guys do, Lauren and John? Are y'all praying that there'll be another crazy homicidal mother that will kill a couple of kids so that you guys can make your next million? You sure tried to pick up the Melody Buzzard case. Is that what you're doing? Who wants that as a job? Who wants to have a job where you're sitting around thinking, oh man, I can't believe there hasn't been a horrific murder lately. What are we going to do, John? We need someone to murder their kids so we can make some cash. That's not the way to go. That is the way. You know what that is, Lauren? Selling your soul to the devil. That is what that is. Everybody, please, please, please go to Crush's channel, Difficult Research. The link is in the chat. And subscribe. She's got amazing information. And then this video where your jaw will hit the ground when you see what Lauren and John Matthias are capable of. Truly, you'll be in shock. Everybody else, I hope you have a great afternoon. And I'll see you. Will I see you tomorrow? Let me think about my schedule. It's going to be Friday before you see me again. But I'm going to miss you until then. See y'all later. Uh-oh. Wrong song. Sorry. Try again.
Oh, Lauren.
Thank y'all so much. Oh, you know what I have to do?
With Botox so tight,
Rochelle,
like
thank you for the
dream, but
super
your
sticker.
skin's so
You are a
thin,
great
it's like
friend.
tissue
Thank you so much.
paper. One wrong word
And
poof, you're a vapor.
the darling
Lauren, toes
five.
are
Oh my
red.
gosh.
From folks stepping on them, now you're crying.
I'm so sorry. My darling, you are amazing. Thank you so much for the 5 memberships. Can I tell you something, my darling? I've never had anybody gift memberships in my channel before. This is a first for me. And I am touched. I appreciate you more than you know. And I've been telling everybody that I'm going to do like a diaper drive because my daughter is pregnant with twins. And so I thought it would be fun. Like we'll do it after, like in January. And we'll do it. And I went the other day and I bought some gifts and stuff from Bath and Body Works for a membership party. So the fact that you gave 5 memberships, my heart is just swelling with joy. So I thank you so much. And so I'm really sorry that I didn't see that before I was fixing to end the live. I don't know how far back I have to go to see who got those. Let me see if I can find it really quick. Oh, I hate that I missed that because I don't ever get like the super chats and stuff. I don't pay attention. And look, Rochelle, Darlin, this was a great present for me to get them. I'm very excited. You could tell when I saw it, I was like, oh my God, yay. Okay. So whoever it was that got the 5 memberships, would you mind putting in the, because I can't find it. I'm in a hurry here. Would you mind in the messages under the video, would you tell me if you were one of those that got one of those memberships so I can properly thank my darling? And Rochelle Black, I want you to know that super chat is going toward diapers. All right. So thank you so much. Sorry for the interruption. I didn't go out so smooth, but we're going to try again. Okay. Y'all have a wonderful afternoon. And thank you, my darling. And Rochelle, you filled my heart with joy. Thank you.
Oh, Lauren, queen of the screen. With Botox so tight, You look like a dream, but your skin's so thin.
Oh, Blaine got one.
Tissue
Yay!
paper. One wrong word and poof, you're a vapor.
You're a vapor.
Hey, Lauren, toes all sore and red. From folks stepping on them, now you're crying in bed. People are mean, you wail through the night, but you swing at victims' kin. What a sight! From YouTube throne, Queen Lauren's so grand. Now cast to the peasants with pitchforks in hand. You dish out the drama, true crime with flair, but cross your highness, oh beware. Family members grieving, you pounce like a cat.
Merry Christmas, Cinnamon Hot Hot.
Imagine that. Botox can't hide that frown upside down. Your kingdom's crumbling, you're losing your crown. Hey, Lauren, toes all sore and red. From folks stepping on them, now you're crying in bed. People are mean, you wail through the night, but you swing at victims' skin. What a sight!
Oh, Blonde PT got one. Yay,
Queen Lauren's
Blondie.
so grand. Now cast to the peasants with pitchforks in hand. Once upon a vid, you ruled the true crime wave.
Thank you, Malika.
Millions, oh, what a rave. But thin skin and sore toes led to your fall. Now you're scrolling comments, ignored by all. Peasant life calls with no royal decree. Just Botox bills.
I love this
and
part.
reality TV.
Reality TV.
Hey, Lauren, pack up your crown. The kingdom's
Thank you,
evicting.
Nene.
You're heading downtown. Toes still aching, tears on your sheets. But hey, next adventure, true crime on the street. From queen
Thank
to
you,
the
Anarchy.
fields with the mud and the muck. Lauren, oh Lauren, next time, better luck.
I know what y'all thought I was going to
Apologize,
say, but I
Lauren,
didn't,
to
did I?
victims
All right.
of
Y'all have a
our-
great afternoon. Good to see y'all. Merry Christmas, everybody.
Oh, Lauren,
Oh,
queen of
why
the
are we getting
scene.
We got to go.
With
Bye.
Botox so tight,